Let me start with a simple question. If you have to choose between a handmade product and a factory-made product, which one would you choose? Of course, the answer might depend on the price. If the handmade product costs $10 and a factory-made costs $100, the decision suddenly becomes much more difficult. But this simple choice represents a much bigger question. Today, everything is designed to be faster, cheaper, and more convenient. Machine can produce thousands of identical products, while traditional workers still use skills passed down through generations.
They weave, they make pottery, they farm, they fish, they create things by hand.
So, where do traditional occupations belong in the world dominated by technology and mass production? Today, I will discuss why they can survive, the challenges they face, and how they can adapt to the modern world. My name is Neil Estonwajoli. I am a student attending CAE 34 at Jesuit International School. Let's go. Firstly, traditional occupations can survive because people still value authenticity and uniqueness. For example, imagine buying a handmade ceramic cup from a local artist. It might not be perfectly shaped, maybe one side is slightly bigger than the other, but that is exactly what made it special. If you buy 1,000 identical cups from a factory, they may be cheaper and more convenient. However, a handmade cup has a story behind it. You know that the real person made it with their own hands. Nowadays, many people want products that feel personal and authentic. We are surrounded by mass-produced products, so sometimes something made slowly by a human being feel more valuable. Secondly, traditional occupations are closely connected to culture and identity. Traditional weaving, pottery, food production, and handcraft are not simply jobs. They can represent the history of a community or the entire country. If these occupations disappear, we may not just lose a job, we may lose a part of our culture. Imagine a world where every country sells the same clothes, eat the same food, and produce the same products. It would be convenient, but probably quite boring. Another reason traditional occupation can survive is that modern technology can actually help traditional workers. A traditional artist can use social media to show their products to people all over the world. In the past, a craft person might only sell products in their own village or town. Today, they can post one video online and reach thousands of people.
So, technology does not always have to be the enemy of traditional occupation.
Sometimes it can actually become their friends. However, traditional occupation face some serious challenges. The biggest is probably competition from machines and mass production. Factory can produce thousands of products quickly and cheaply. A person making something by hand may need hours or even days to produce one item. So naturally, many customers choose the cheaper option. For example, if someone can buy a factory-made shed for $10, they might not want to pay $50 for a handmade one. Traditional workers may be highly skilled, but their product can still be more expensive. Another major problem is that young people are often less interested in learning traditional occupations. Many prefer a career in technology, business, medicine, or entertainment. And honestly, I can understand why. If someone said you can become a successful software engineer or spend 10 hours making baskets by hands, many young people might choose the first option. However, if fewer young people learn traditional skills, there may be nobody left to continue them. The third challenge is that some traditional occupations are becoming less necessary. Tasks that once required human workers can now be completed by machines or computers. Therefore, traditional occupations cannot survive simply by saying, "This is how we have always done it." They need to adapt. So, what can we do? The first solution is education. School could introduce students to traditional skills through workshop or special project. Students could learn about traditional cooking, weaving, pottery, farming, or craftsmanship. The aim would not be force every student to become a traditional worker. Instead, students would understand the value of these occupations and perhaps some of them would become interested in continuing them. Secondly, traditional workers need to use modern technology. They can promote their products through social media, create online shoppings, and communicate with customers around the world. For example, a person making traditional jewelry in a small village could sell it to customers in another country. That would have been almost impossible in the past. Thirdly, traditional occupations need to adapt to modern lifestyle. A traditional tailor could create modern clothes using traditional pattern. A traditional food producer could sell traditional food in modern packagings. A craftsman could create products that are both traditional and useful in modern homes. In other words, traditional does not have to remain frozen in the past. Traditional can change without disappearing. So, can traditional occupations survive in the modern world? I believe they can, but not simply because they are old. Their real value comes from the knowledge, skill, creativity, and cultural meaning behind them. And these things can continue to exist even when the methods change. A traditional worker can use social media. A craft person can design products for a modern customer. A young person can learn an old skill and use completely new ideas to develop it. So, we do not necessarily have to choose between tradition and modernity. There are room for both. We can enjoy the convenience of modern technology while still appreciating the time and human skill behind the traditional work. Because moving forward does not mean that everything from the past has to disappear. A society can move forward without leaving everything behind. And if traditional occupations are allowed to adapt, they may not simply survive the modern world. They may find a completely new place in it.
Thank you class, thank you teacher, thank for listening, I love you, class I love you.